Hello. So it's been close to a year since I last made any video, but due to insistent demand with regards to this particular form and some other stuff, I'll try to come up with videos over the course of the next few weeks or months. So let's start with this particular form, which has been a question for most of those under BMBE because it's a required attachment in lieu of a financial statement. So this is called the 1701 AIF. If you will notice, the last update of BIR for this one was July of 1999. You won't be able to find the form on their website. This is already an obsolete form some in the eyes of BIR. So let's see what really does this mean. Let me check here. So as per Taxumo, they said this should be accomplished by self-employed, estates, trust, engaged in trade and business, and simply contains taxpayers relevant information. Now, if you will look at this entire form, this is not a taxpayer's relevant information. It is not. The 1701 AIF is a form that was created by BIR to serve as an easier way of creating your own financial statement that is required to be passed on to them. Meaning, if you do not want to hire a service of a tax management company or a CPA to create or a bookkeeper to create a financial statement for you, you can use this form to complete it yourself. Yun po ang silbi ng 1701 AIF. Now, yung basics niya, medyo madali naman. For the year of, kung ano yung ending year of last year, say for example, 2023. So that's what you will put there. Category, as you can see here, taxpayer, you just need to put the X mark or either that one, self-employed, you need to select your option or your tax, individual tax. So whether you're self-employed, professional, if the business is actually under an estate or a trust, then you need to put in your TIN number as usual, your name. If it's under a trust or estate, of course, it has to be the name of the admin or the trustee. Now we move on to this important part. 6A, method of inventory valuation. There are only three methods of inventory valuation. It's called FIFO, first in, first out, LIFO, last in, first out, and WAC, or weighted average cost. For most of us na under retail, we use FIFO. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng FIFO? Kung ano yung unang pumasok na goods, yun ang una nating binibenta. Kaya nga siya first in, first out. Parang pag nagbenta ka ng baboy, syempre yung pinaka uh, unang nakatay, yun ang una mong ibebenta. Hindi yung huling kinatay ang una mong ibebenta. Yun yung LIFO. Yung baliktad naman yun. So, for majority of us, for the inventory valuation, just put in FIFO. For the WAC, don't even bother with that one. That's for businesses. So medyo complicated yung computation yan. Now, method of bookkeeping, manual or computerized manual. If you're using the four books, as all of us are, probably computerized, bihirang-bihira magkaroon ng computerized neto because you're talking about getting a permit to use with BIR and having an app such as QuickBooks or Intuit. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng computerized bookkeeping dito. Then 6C kind of books registered. You have loose leaf and bound. Bound, ito yung libro. Your typical libro is bound. Okay? So yung binibili sa national, that's actually bound. Kasi um, binded na siya to begin with. Okay? So loose leaf, I'll show you later what a loose leaf is since I'm using loose leaf. So para makita nyo kung ano yung libro na to. Mas madaling gamitin to. Pero ang problema kasi when you're using these kinds of books, to be honest, it's uh, you need to get a permission to use from BIR. And that takes an easy 3 months before they will even approve it. If they would approve it. Depending kasi yan sa laki ng transactions na meron ka. So, mag-loose leaf, ito yan. Let me give you an example. This is a CRJ, Cash Receipts Journal. As you can see, it has the name and it is on Excel. That's what a loose leaf is. Page per page per page yan per month. Depende kung gaano kalaki yung kailangang scope. And then, piniprint out siya at the end of the year. And then, you submit it on or before January 15 of the following year. Every year yan. Yun ang requirement for loose leaf. So, it's an easier way of bookkeeping para sa mga may malalaking transaction o medyo sabihin na natin medium size yung laki ng transaction. Most of the medium size or small companies use loose leaf. Mas madali kasi ito. Although may extra work nga, extra leg work. But for the small ones, don't even bother kasi madaming extra leg work na kailangan mo lakarin sa BIR to use this option. Now, moving forward here, if you will notice, I said this is submitted in lieu of your financial statement. Why? Financial statements normally have four components. One is an income statement, the balance sheet. What else? I forgot. Statement of changes in owner's equity or statement of changes in capital and statement of cash flow. Itong dalawang ito, statement of changes in OE at cash flow is not found on the 1701 AIF. Only income statement and balance sheet is actually on this one. So, mas comprehensive kasi ang financial statement. So, if you ask me, ano yung difference ng 1701 AIF at yung financial statement, there you go. Those two. So, itong 1701 AIF talagang bare bones lang ito para ka lang makapag-submit at para sa mga hindi talaga professional or accounting professional. So, ito yung easiest way. Kasi in this case, nakasasubmit mo yung income statement saka yung balance sheet na kailangan ng BIR. Like for example, for BMBE, financial statement lang talaga yung may value doon kasi they need to see if you are still below the 3 million asset threshold. Okay? Now, if you look at this one is comparative. So, for some reason, ang 1701 AIF is actually a comparative financial statement. So, Pag comparative, you need to list the previous year. If you're a new company, of course, blanco yan. If you already have a previous numbers, you need to put it on the previous year. Current year is on the right side. So, what's important on this section? So, part 2, which is the income statement. Number 1 is this part. This is particularly important. Okay, I will emphasize, okay? Napakahalaga po sa mga nasa under ng BMBE. Itong gross sales, revenue, receipts, fees. Bakit? Ang totality na to, say for example, 100,000 ang nilagay nyo dito. Ang total na 100,000 na gross sales na yan should match yung apat na 2551Q na sinabmit ninyo sa BIR. Yung percentage tax, yun ang pinagbabasihan, gross sales. Ganyan po mag-check si BIR. Pag chinek niya yung totality ng apat, kailangan mag-match dito. Dahil pag hindi, ibig sabihin, may mali doon sa libro. See what I mean? Ganyan ang auditing. Pag mamatch lang yan ng mga numero. Now, kung may 1701, say, Q kayo, or yung income tax return quarterly, yung gross sales doon, pag tinotal yung apat, o yung tatlong gross sale plus the fourth quarter, it should be this amount na nandito. Same goes sa 2551. So pare-parehas yung numero ng 1701Q, 2551Q, at tong 1701 or 1701 AIF. Mahalaga po yan. Iyan na sa mga nasa under ng BAMBI o BMBE. Ito lang ang nag-iisang item na pwede kayong ma-audit. Gross sales. Ang dami nagsasabi bakit yung deduction hindi ma-audit kasi pag binultiply mo sa zero yan. Diba? Pero yung gross sales, meron kang tax payable dyan. Doon naghahabol si BIR. Something na meron silang o meron kang dapat bayaran, doon sila mahigpit. Kasi yung computation nun must match the numbers. Okay? Now, number 8, leave this. This is for those with partnership. So, medyo komplikado yan. I'll try to discuss that under a 1702. Pag may time ako para tawag dito, discuss ang 1702, I will try to, para sa mga small companies o OPC, kung mga naglakas loob magpunta ng o mag-switch ng OPC, um, ito kasi ang sinasubmit nila under 1702. So may ibang mga computation. Katulad yan, may shares kasi yan o dividendo. Now, number 9, less sales returns, allowances, sales discount. Ito medyo mabigat ito. Yung yung iba na sinasabi nila, for example, PWD tsaka senior citizen discount. Saan pupunta yon? Diyan yun. Kaya nga nakahiwalay, pag pansinin nyo yung pagre-resibo, yung amount na dinidiscount nakahiwalay because kailangan mong i-total yon at ilagay under this line item. Sales return and allowances, tsaka sales discount. This is important para doon sa mga nasa OSD at nasa itemized deduction. Para sa 8%, hindi to mahalaga. Kasi hindi nababawasan ang 8%. Gross sales lang talaga yun eh. Pero doon sa mga nasa ibang tax rates, ito ang isa sa mga paraan ng pagbabawas ng income, ng taxable income. Okay? Now, pag minus mo yung 7 tsaka 9, you will have your net sales. Okay? So, kunyari, sabihin na natin 100,000 yung gross sales, zero yung returns and allowances and discounts. So, that means net sales is 100,000. Cost of sales, nakalagay dyan, no, schedule 1. So, may specific section ito. Ano yung cost of sales? Ito yung COGS. Cost of goods of sales or cost of sales and services. Cost. May dalawang section dito. Mapapansin nyo, A and B. For trading entity and for manufacturing entity, or tatlo pala, service entity. So, yung mga nag-i-issue ng SI, sales invoice, ito po ang gamitin ninyong section nito. Kung gagamit kayo ng 1701 AIF, service entity. Kasi sales invoice kayo, or sorry, OR at SI pala. Pag OR, ito, for service entity. So, yung mga nagpo-provide ng service, that's OR ang ini-issue niyan. And that means they will have to complete this section. For those na nasa manufacturing, which is very rare sa mga under ng Bambi, almost zero to. So, ito ang ginagamit nila, which is yung letter B. For most of us, ng mga retailers, wholesalers, and such, trading entity. So, you use letter A. So, you start with inventory beginning. So, ano yung inventory beginning? Kung bago pa lang kayo, that will be yung initial inventory ninyo. Kung kayo ay lumang company, so say for example, 2 years na kayo, ang beginning inventory is the ending inventory of last year. Nagagets niyo na? So, yun po siya. May ending inventory yan. Ito, yung nakalagay dito, merchandise inventory ending. Kung ano ang merchandise inventory ending ng taon na yon, the following year, yon ang merchandise inventory beginning ninyo. Diba? It makes sense. So, now, purchases, ito yung mga binili nyong goods or inventory within the year. So, yung dagdag, uh, pambenta na ginawa ninyo. Dito nyo ilalagay siya. Now, freight in cost, typically, ito yung cost ng, say for example, umorder ka, say, sa Shopee. Doon ka bumili ng goods na ibebenta mo sa tindahan mo. Ano ang freight in doon? That's your shipping cost. That's what freight in is. This is the cost to move the goods papunta sa'yo. Yun po ang ibig sabihin yan. So, ito yung logistics cost nila. So, you add the logistics cost from the purchases. So, in purchases, pag pinag-uusapan ng purchases, ito lang yung original cost ng produkto itself. Yung shipping cost, nakahiwala yon. Freight in po yon. Yung returns and allowances, kung may sira dun sa mga um, items na binebenta ninyo na kailangan yung i-return dun sa supplier at binalik sa inyo ang bayad doon or binigyan kayo ng diskwento, dito po yon. Returns and allowances is actual money. Yung discounts, actual money rin to pero diskwento sa normally pag diskwento kasi sa next tawag dito next purchase uma-apply siya or kung bayad na. Pag hindi pa bayad, pwedeng i-apply yung discount bago yung bayaran. So, yun yung gamit na itong discount. Okay? So, hindi nyo babawasan rekta yung purchases. Mayroong sariling item, line item po yun. Okay? Now, yung mga nilalagay kong o pino-point out kong tawag dito, um, mga information so far, ito yung mga normally makikita nyo sa financial statement. Bakit mahalaga to? Kasi ito rin yung mga accounting titles na gagamitin nyo sa inyong CRJ at CDJ. So, at one point siguro, I'll try to create, medyo mahaba kasi ang paggawa na paglilibro eh. So, section by section siguro gagawin ko to para ipakita sa inyo kung paano magagawa ito ng madali. Bakit mas madali ito? Okay? Kasi para dun sa mga nag-iisip, naglilibro, ano nga ba yung mga accounting title na kailangan kong gamitin? Gamitin nyo itong 1701 AIF. Dito nyo mahahanap lahat ng accounting title na most likely kakailanganin ninyo. Hindi nyo na kailangan maghanap pa sa internet or magtanong sa libro or sa ano as to what are those accounting titles if you know how to do this. Because yung kasi ang silbi ng paglilibro. Pag yung totalities kasi noon, yun ang lilitaw dito. Now, moving back. Okay? Now, moving back. Once, kunyari, na-compute na yung cost ng, ng cost of sales and services, binabawas yan. Okay? Binabawas yan dito. Yung cost of sales and service, binabawas yan doon sa net. Okay? Para ma-compute yung tawag dito, taxable yung gross profit from operation nyo. Ito, this one. So, yung gross profit from operation, ito, ano kasi yan eh, medyo complicated yung computation niya. Para sa atin kasi mga single prop, whether OSD ka or whatnot, ang computation straight gross sales less lahat to. Or technically, gross sales, pag itemized, ibabawas mo lahat to. Okay? Now, what if OSD ka? Sa OSD, ibang usapan. Depende kung ikaw ay under ng single prop or OPC. One person corporation. Bakit? Or OPC or corporation. Iba kasi ang computation pagdating sa cost of sales. Medyo komplikado siya. Mahirap siyang i-explain sa inyo kasi sa mga nasa OSD at under ng single prop, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin pambawas yung cost of sales and service. Pero sa mga under ng corporation, ibinabawas muna ang cost of sales and service bago yung computation ng gross of sales. See? So medyo magulo siya. So medyo challenging. Hindi naman siya challenging. It's actually an advantage. But it's better to explain it in detail if I discuss an income statement. Kung paano gumawa ng income statement rather than now. Because we're just going to get to uh, breeze by the entire 1701 AF today. Now, etong gains from sales of assets to or investments. 13, 14, 15. Bihira mangyari ito. Technically, yung mga numero dito nilalagay lang din sa ano sa ibang sections. Pwede kasing ilagay sa ibang section to. What do I mean by that? Itong additional investment. Pero kung yan ibinenta yung asset ng kumpanya o asset ng negosyo, ibinenta mo at naging cash at hindi nagasta yon. Actually, kahit hindi magasta man o hindi, gain pa rin yun. Gain from sales pa rin yun. So, yun ang ibig sabihin niya pag nagbenta yung negosyo ng mga assets, dito na pupunta yan, 13, 14, and 15, and 16. O yung tinatawag. Technically yan, other income yan. Itong tatlong to, other income to. Part yan ng other income. So, um, kumbaga sa ano, don't pay attention to these ones. Hindi na para sa mga under ng Bambi, forget this part. Medyo that way hindi kayo malito. Okay? Now, ano na yung mahalaga din? Yung gross sales lang, kung may sales returns and allowances kayo na register doon, then yung cost of sales, yun lang. Yung total nun. So, yung anong cost of sales? If you notice, freight in, returns, net purchase ang lilitaw dito, di ba? Pag nag-net purchase yan, add mo yung 8, if you notice sum of items 89 and 91D. Ba? Meaning, actually medyo mali pa nga yung ano nito eh. Actually, dapat no 91G. So, what do I mean by that? So, yung inventory beginning plus net purchase is goods po available yan. Goods available for sale. So, mali po itong 891D. It's actually 91GH. So po, yung net purchase. Okay? So, yun po ang pag-a-adding nyo dito. Now, yung ending inventory, ito yung i-compute nyo ngayon, ipambabawas nyo dito sa 92, sa goods available for sale, less merchandise inventory, yun po ang cost of sales ninyo. So, take note po yung merchandise inventory ending. Bakit po mahalaga to? Meron pong sinasubmit every January 30 ang mga retailer under RMC 51 2015. Yun po yung tinatawag na inventory list. Ang totality po ng inventory list ay ang inyong merchandise inventory ending. Yung inventory list po ay ang detailed breakdown ng merchandise inventory ending. Medyo nagigets po ba? Hopefully na medyo naintindihan nyo. Yung breakdown ng total nito, kung anong mga item yon, magkano yung halaga nun, yun yung inventory list. Yung total nun, yun po ang yung merchandise inventory ending. Kaya po yan kino-compute o yung RMC 50, yung inventory list sa end ng taon. Ending inventory as of December 31. Okay? So hopefully nagkakaroon kayo ang tawag dito, ng clarity kung ano yung inventory list o anong gamit ng inventory list. So ito po yun. Si merchandise inventory ending, nakaka-come up po yan using yung inventory list na sinasubmit. Okay? Now, itong cost of sales, pag minus nyo na po yung 92 at 93, yan po ang yung cost of sales o cost of goods o COGS. So, kung minsan po ginagamit ko is cost of goods, COGS, or imbis na cost na nakalagay dito, parehas lang po yan. Uh, Marami kasing mga terms na technically parehas, pero iba ang katawagan. Medyo may problema kasi ang accounting when it comes to its standards. Kaya nga po may tinatawag silang GAAP o Generally Accepted Accounting Principle at GAAS. So yung mga ganon, so sa mga tag dito CPA or nag-accounting, they would probably know that. Now, let's move on. Pag tinotal nyo, binawas nyo na po yung gross sales less cost of sales, yun po yung gross profit. If you notice, net sales, di ba? So, 7 less 9, or item 7 less item 9 equals to item 10. Item 10 less item 11, yan po yung gross profit from operation ninyo. Now, may nakalagay dito non-operating income. Ano yung non-operating income ninyo? Say for example, kung ba ilalagay itong sa ano, na Ito, say for example, ang tindahan nyo, malaki ang pwesto. So, ang ginawa nyo, nag-decide kayo na paupahan yung certain section ng pwesto ninyo. Non-operating income po yun. Kasi hindi po yung part ng business ninyo. Ang, ang business ninyo is retail. Iba po ang pagpapaupa. So, napupunta po yan sa other income. Yan po yung sinasabi nilang other income. Okay? So, now, pag tinotal yon, mapupunta ka na sa gross income. Now, sorry, gross income, now you have to deduct the expenses o yung OE, operating expense actually. Yan ang mas kilalang term dito. Salaries and allowances. Okay, salaries and allowances na dinideclare po dito, take note po, ito yung mga nagsasubmit ng 1601C o withholding tax on compensation. Pag hindi po kayo nagde-declare ng 1601C, wag niyo pong lagyan yung salaries and allowances. Magkakaroon po kayo ng problema. Posible kasi magkaroon ng problema diyan. When I mean problema, not actually on BIR but on other agencies na may kinalaman dito. Ano po yun? Yung tatlong nandito sa number 20. SSS, GSIS, Medicare, HDMF. Kasi po, they share, if I'm not mistaken, they're starting to share the information between agencies or interagency na ang tawag dito, pag-share ng information. Okay? So, doon po kayo mapa-flag dyan kasi hindi kayo registered. Yung may 1601C, normally po yan po ay may registered din ng SS as employer, HDMF, PHIC o yung PhilHealth. Kaya po yan nandito. Now, kaya ko po as much as possible or I advise not to put in anything on the salaries and allowances unless nagde-declare kayo ng 1601C at nagpo-provide kayo nitong mga ito. Okay? Now, fringe benefit, ito yung katulad ng rice allowance, transpo allowance, yan, na binibigay sa empleyado. Fringe benefit yon. They're actually deductible sa tax ng employer. Etong SS, GSIS, and contributions na to, these are what you call the EC. Employer's contribution. So, yung mga nagbabayad po ng SS ng mga empleyado nila, may table yan na nakalagay para sa EC. Yung table na para sa employer, yun lang po ang itototal nyo at ilalagay dito. Hindi yung buong contribution. Kasi po ang contribution ng employee is split between the employer and the employee. So, the employer side, total amount for the year, this is what you put here. Nagre-reflect din yan sa 1601C. So, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. Ganyan mang pag-audit. It normally requires one or two to three other forms that actually has the same numbers and will have to have the same number because any difference or variance on them on one of those forms, flag yan. Yun ang rason sa pagpa-flag. Okay? So, commission, when we say commission, this is commission expense. Not commission na kinita ninyo. So, the paid commission to. Yun yung term dyan actually. Sa mga nasa accounting, alam niyo na, tawag dyan ay paid commission. Outside services, ito yung mga third-party services na kinukuha mo. For example, ikaw ay grocery at nagpapalinis ka, third party ng tindahan every month, then that payment para do sa cleaning service, that's outside service. That's a third party service. Okay? Now, advertising, of course, ad expense. So kung may advertising kayo, kung mga say Shopee or tawag dito Google, kung nag-Google Ads kayo para makapag mag advertise ng yung produkto, yung cost of payment sa Google, that's advertising expense. Rental, that's rent, of course, rent expense kasama yan. Um, Normally, pag may rental expense kayo or rent expense, we're not, uh, tawag dito, you are also obligated to um, submit for withholding tax. But pag if you're under Bambi, you don't need to actually. You're supposed to be exempt from withholding. So, but that's for income payments. In this case, hindi income payments yan eh. Um, you're actually paying for the service or yung rent. So, talaga may withholding tax yan. Yan ang rason kung bakit pag pumunta kayo ng RDO, yung RO, tinatanong nila kung renting o umuupa kayo o sa inyo yung pwesto. Because pag sa inyo ang pwesto, walang rental expense. Therefore, walang withholding doon. Pero kung yan ay inuupahan nyo, may withholding siya. Okay? Now, insurance. When it comes to insurance, ito yung insurance ng company itself. Say for example, fire insurance, um, yung AOG o Acts of God Insurance, those falls into this section. Royalties, ito po yung mga franchise fee. Unfortunately, sa mga hindi pwede mag-qualify ng Bambi dahil sa franchise fee o franchise ang kanilang negosyo, yung franchise fee na binabayaran nyo actually falls under royalties. Repairs and maintenance, ito yung mga maintenance costs kung kailangan mag-maintain o repair. So, dito po nilalagay yan. Now, question, paano po pag yung pagre-repair para lang ay gawa lang ng kapitbahay kong karpintero. So most of the time ganito 'yan di ba? So hindi po siya pwede ko po ba siyang i-flag o ilagay dito sa cost na to? Answer is no. Ang repairs and maintenance po pinag-uusapan dito must be yung carpenter nyo nag-i-issue ng BIR accredited receipts. So, substantiation issue po yan. Yan ang rason kung bakit pagdating sa expenses, mahigpit po ang BIR. Pero, that plays into um, computation para sa mga regular itemized deduction at yung under ng VAT. Kasi mahigpit sa resibo si BIR. Pero pagdating sa mga katulad nating nasa under ng Bambi, which is income tax exempt, hindi nila pinipay attention ito kasi kahit anong ilagay mo dito, whether may ilagay ka o hindi, ending niya, ang total o final amount dun sa dulo ng taxable mo is zero. So, yun po ang ano yan. Now, itong representation and entertainment, ito po yung R&R na sinasabi nila. So, unlikely na meron kayo neto, transportation and travel na transportation ko siguro kung meron kayong mga ahente. So, yun nga po, sa mga, for example, service ang LOB nyo. Magpo-fall dito yan. Yung travel ko sa travel allowances, dito rin yan. Now, fuel and oil, when we say fuel and oil, kung may sasakyan kayo, naghahatid kayo ng mga kliyente and everything, dito po yan. Okay? Communication, light, and water. Ito po yung nagagamit madalas. Communication, light, and water, ibig sabihin yung mga cost ng, say, postpaid na cellphone, internet, kuryente o Meralco, tubig, Maynilad, yan po yun. Pero make sure po na yung mga resibo nun either is in the name of your business or under the name of the proprietor. Mahalaga po yun. The only instance na pwede pong hindi sa pangalan ninyo yan is if kayo ay renting. Rental. Pero kung hindi po kayo rental, sasabit po kayo dito sa linyang ito, sa 31. Okay? So take note po yan ha. Yung communication, light and water, kailangan po yan nakapangalan doon sa owner or nasa pangalan ng business for it to be allowed to be part of your operational expense. Kasi po pag single proprietor po kayo, the business and the person itself is one and the same. Yun po ang rason nun. So allowed po yun. Pero kung nasa ibang pangalan po yan, ibang usapan yon. Labas yon. Consider yun labas. Now, supplies, this is supplies expense. Interest, kung may utang kayo, at kunyari may payable kayo, at may interest yung payable, dito po pumupunta yon. Interest expense. Taxes and licenses, nakalagay Schedule 2. Tanong Schedule 2. Ito po yung Schedule 2. So, yung mga binayaran yung tax from the for that year, say for example, 2023, lahat ng binayaran yung tax, ilalagay nyo dito. See? Ah. And when I say tax and licenses, pati po yung mga business permit, pwede nyo pong i-deduct actually sa cost niyan. Ultimo DTI registration, kunyari nataon kayo na 5 taon na kayo ngayong taon na last year at nagbayad kayo ng cost para sa DTI registration, pwede nyo ilagay dito. Part po yan ng taxes and licenses. Okay? So yung uh, business permit, yung sangkatutak na kung ano-anong fees. If you will notice, siguro 5 o 6 na resibo yata yun, if I'm not mistaken. Depende sa LGU yan. Lahat yon may breakdown. Doon nyo ilalagay yung breakdown. Then, lalagay nyo dito sa taxes and licenses. Losses, pag net loss kayo for the quarter, for dito nyo dinideclare yan. Yung mga net loss. So, yung loss per quarter, kunyari, mas malaki yung cost, dito yon. So, yung mga NOLCO, o net operating loss, carry over, may kinalaman tong losses dito. Bad debts. What's bad debt? Ibig sabihin po niyan, utang na hindi nyo na masingil. So, kung hindi nyo na masingil yung utang at ginipapan nyo na, pwede nyo ilagay sa bad debts. Doon po yan. Yan po yung sinasabi nila sa mga bangko, nag-write off ng utang. So, considered na po siyang expense. Depreciation, say for example, lahat ng items typically nagdi-depreciate except for land and a few luxury items like for example painting. Yung mga katulad ng painting ni sino to? Amor Solo or Van Gogh, mga ganong klaseng works of art, hindi nagdi-depreciate yon. So walang depreciation yon. Pero say for example, a very easy one, bumili kayo ng laptop for this year. So yung depreciation dito pupunta. May computation po yan. Say for example, linear depreciation, you split it in the depreciation cost, say, to 10% every year. So, dito nyo po ilalagay yon. So, yung original amount, multiply nyo sa, say, 10%, yung total nun, yun yung depreciation. So, pag inad nyo po lahat ng depreciation, kunyari, hindi lang laptop, kundi iba-iba pang mga items na may depreciation sa inyo, na kinumputan nyo uh, using linear depreciation method. Yun yung pinakamadali kasi. May iba pang paraan ng pagko-compute ng depreciation but I will not discuss it today. I'll discuss it on some other time. Okay? Now, itong 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, okay, so 38 to 42, I will not discuss this. Medyo komplikado na to at hindi to nagagamit at most probably 99% of us. That's the easiest way of putting it. So, 43 tayo, miscellaneous. What's miscellaneous? Any expense or operating expense that is not listed under these items can be put under miscellaneous. So, hindi lang po kasi ito ang mga cost. Marami pang ibang klase ng cost na part ng operating expense nyo na hindi nandito. So, pwede nyo ilagay yon under miscellaneous. Now, pag tinotal nyo po yung lahat ng expenses, yan po ilalagay nyo sa 44. So, the totality of number 18 to 43 will be the one for 44. Now, net income, that will be line item 17 less 44. So, yun po yung net income. Yung net income um, ninyo typically is almost your, depende po kasi yan sa tax. So, kung itemized deduction regular kayo, dito pinagbabasihan ang inyong ang tawag dito, ang inyong tax o yung taxable income ninyo sa 45. Pero kung kayo ay OSD, ibang section, ito, yung 12. Pwedeng 12 or pwedeng 7. Sa mga nasa 8%, ito lang talaga siya, 7. Okay? So, yun po ang ano niyan, ang paraan po ng ano. Kasi iba-iba yung kung saan dinederive yung o yung base for deriving the total or the cost. I mean the deduction itself. So, sa 8% and OSD, hindi yun ang ito pang most likely gagamitin nyo, yung gross sales. Pero sa itemized deduction, ito ang ginagamit nila. Now, if you will notice, parang lugi yung OSD tsaka si 8%, di ba? Kasi may mga deduction dito eh. Yun ang rason kung bakit iniiwasan ito kasi kailangan nga po ng substantiation. Kailangan may resibo. And when I say resibo, it has to be a BIR authorized and approved receipt. Hindi lang po basta-bastang resibo. So mahigpit po yan. Kung kayo ay regular itemized deduction, good luck po sa inyo because you need to make sure that each of the na i-declare nyo when it comes to the expenses are substantiated by the receipt. Yan po ang rason kung bakit madaming audit sa mga nandun sa section o mga uh, taxpayer na under ng itemized deduction. The only exception do sa mga itemized deduction na hindi nila pinapansin is yung mga nasa BAMBI or may income tax exception. Kasi nga walang silbi. Pero sa mga regular, any change here changes the entire computation itself. Okay, now let's move on to this one. Balance sheet. Normally, ito ang unang ginagawa actually. Sa totoo lang. Hindi yung income statement. Hindi ko maintindihan na ba't baliktad, no? But let's start with balance sheet. Balance sheet, ito yung assets, liabilities, and capital. Sa totoo lang, dito ang pinaka-importante sa mga Bambi. Why? If you'll notice, assets, diba? There's a rule sa for you to avail the benefits under Bambi law. And that is you need to make sure that your assets or the assets of the business is less than 3 million pesos. And how would BIR determine that? through this. No, sa start ng pag-apply nyo ng um, income tax exemption, nire-require kayo ng sworn statement of assets. Diba? Kasi wala pa kayong balance sheet. Pero the following year, hindi na nyo required i-submit yon. Bakit? Kasi meron na kayo neto. Via the financial statement, kung sa FS ang inattach nyo, or this one, the 1701 AIF. As you can see, magpo-prove yan kung ano yung actual asset nyo at the end of that year. May mga iba nagtatanong sa akin, paglampas yung kinita nila, pwede bang ah, malaki ang possibility ng sumabit, magkaroon ng problema dun sa 3 million asset? Yes. Kasi when you make a sale, say for example, 3 million sale, where does it go? Ano yung kapalit niyan? Katapat niyan sa income statement, not income statement, but your accounting book o sa journal mo. It's either cash or accounts receivable. Ano ba yung dalawang yun? Isn't it asset yun? See? So, yan yung sinasabi. Yan yung worrisome doon. Kaya pag lumalampas na ng ganyan kalaki ang sale, kung medyo hindi pa naman kalakihan, okay lang. Pero kung yan medyo umabot kayo ng 5 milyon annually, I would suggest switching already because hindi na patatawarin yan sa mata ng BIR. May rule kasi yan eh. If I'm not mistaken, it's called the 30% rule. What does that mean? 30% misdeclaration is still allowed. So may allowance for wrong declaration ng BIR bago nila i-flag. It's 30%. Sa ganyang kalaking amount, that means ang maximum na pwede nilang i-allow is less than 1 million. That means probably if your gross sale hits 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, okay lang. Less than 4 million, okay lang. Tumungtong kayo ng 4 million, sigurado ko sa inyo, titignan ng BIR lahat ng resibo ninyo. Hindi yung expenses nyo ang titignan, sincero yon. Yung resibo nyo ang titignan niyan at yung libro. Bakit? Titignan ng BIR saan nyo dinadala yung asset na cash on receivable. Kasi may paraan para i-reduce yan at the end of the year. Okay? So, and that involves, uh, so just ang tawag dito, hint sa inyo, this one, drawings. Drawings, actually, hindi yan drawing na pagdodrawing, kundi owner's drawing or owner's withdrawal. So any withdrawal of money by the owner from the business is an owner's drawing. Yan lang po ang paraan niyan. So may paraan para mag-reduce. Yun lang, pag malaki masyado ng obvious, wag naman. Hindi na kayo patatawarin ni BIR. So, pag less than 4, pwede pa yan. If I'm not mistaken, may allowance siya. I'm not sure what was that. It was quite some time ago, but may allowance for misdeclarations. Okay? Pero pag masyadong malaki, doon kayo sasabit. Okay? Moving forward. Market, itong cash, of course, coming from your actual na capital yan, starting money nyo ng negosyo nyo, kinita ng negosyo nyo, dadagdag yan, and such. Okay? Now, let me show you this. Okay? This is a sample of, ito yung hinahanap ng karamihan eh. This is a sample of the cash receipts journal. So this is a loose leaf version. As you can see, may permit to use, page number. So I redacted most of the information thanks to I got an email from one of those na nanonood sa atin who shared his concern regarding the information, and much appreciated for that one. So I have redacted those. For this one, um, if you will notice, isipin nyo na lang, ito yung nilagay ko doon sa 16 columnar ninyo sa libro. Yung 16 columnar book, ito yung laman. So, and that's the best way of putting it. Nilagay ko lang sa Excel. Okay? So 16 column siya na Excel. Now, bakit siya mahalaga? Ito yung casio, di ba? Hmm. Tapos may debit 'yan o may credit 'yan mula sa cash earned from earned from goods sold. So that means this is sales. Okay? So cash and sales. Most of the time kasi sales lang talaga 'yan. O VAT exempt sales, o medyo iba kasi ang ano ko na, no. So you get an idea na wala na sa exemption ako. Okay? Now, ito yung cash, right? So, pag tinotal mo yan ba ilalagay mo doon sa section na to? Hindi. So, total mo lahat yan, okay? And you will put it here. Ito ang silbi naman nung ledger. If you notice, ito yon. Kung ano to, itong mga nandito, dinerive ko lang yan doon sa CRJ. Itong CD, CRJ o Cash Receipts Journal. Yung credit, nanggaling yan sa Cash Disbursement Journal. Itong section na to. Ito naman. Ito yung palabas eh. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng Cash Disbursement Journal. So, ililista mo lahat yan sa ledger. Okay? Yung date, tsaka yung particulars. Okay? So, hindi ko na nalagyan ng, say for example, 1/3/2022. Okay na rin. Meralco. Meralco. Yan. Okay? Now, yung PR, so post-ref, ibig sabihin nun, nailista ko na siya sa libro. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, na journal ko na siya sa CRJ, sa CDJ. Okay? So, yung total nito for the year, okay? So, total mo lahat yan, add mo lahat yan. Mamarka mo yan. I-note o i-journal mo yan. So, pag nag-journal ka ng sale, isang CRJ, isang ledger. Pag nag-journal ka ng cost o ng palabas, ganun din. Isang CDJ, isang ledger. Dito mo ilalagay sa ledger section yan. Kalagay cash. Tapos ito yung apat. Okay? Now, ito total mo sila. If you notice, 7,400 yung credit, yung cost, yung palabas. 36,500 yung pumasok. What does that mean? You need to deduct that kung sino mas malaki. Pwedeng reversion, net loss yun. Pero kung sa case na to, profit, so 36.5 less 7.4, 29.1. Naka-red, minarkahan ko lang red para sa inyo. So, yung 29,100 na yon, yan yung ilalagay nyo dito. See? Ang mga libro o yung mga numbers na nilalagay sa financial statement at sa AIF, lahat yon nanggaling sa ledger. Kasi diyan kayo magtototal ng bawat account title. Cash, accounts receivable, kung ano-ano pa yan. Okay? Now, moving back or moving forward, sorry. Itong cash nyo beginning, nakalagay niya beginning tsaka ending, 'di ba? Beginning, yan yung ending of last year. Okay? Ending, ito yung final tally nyo. So parehas lang yan ito. Medyo ginulo niya lang. No? So ito yung nakakaasar sa paggawa ng BIR. Hindi na lang nilagay na previous year. So, so yung beginning ending dito, just follow the line. Previous year tong ibig sabihin niya dito. Current year ito. Okay? Now, ano lang yung yung kailangan yung i-take note of dito. Itong securities, remove that, disregard that, but rather cash. Pag sinabing cash, kasi cash on hand and in banks na nakalagay dito. Pero ibig sabihin cash, yun na yung hand in banks na yan. Medyo sa mga corporate lang kasi yan hinihiwalay yung cash on hand o yung petty cash saka yung note cash o yung naka-cheque. So, accounts receivable sa katulad nating maliliit, small businesses or micro, possibly all the way to medium size. Ang accounts receivable iisa. Okay? O, isa lang ang receivable. Actually, yung iba nilalagay lang diyan receivable, hindi accounts receivable. Kasi mas better term actually yung receivable kaysa sa accounts receivable. Kasi pag sinabi mo yung accounts receivable, yan yung utang o yung pagkakautang sa iyo na kaliwaan. By word of mouth lang yan often. Bakit? Kasi may isa pang receivable. It's called the notes receivable. Ang notes receivable, yan yung may promissory to pay o PTP. O yung promise to pay na tinatawag nila. Doon po pumapasok yung notes receivable. Kaya po sa malalaking kumpanya, may makikita kayo minsan line item sa accounting nila na nakalagay notes receivable. Yun po ay mga um, may promise to pay yun. Okay? So, but in any case, that's receivable. Now, may nakalagay dito, allowance for bad debts. Ano yung allowance for bad debts? Yung mga receivable na hindi nyo na masingil, dito nyo i-account, dito nyo ilalagay po yun. So kung kailangan kayong magbawas ng receivable dahil meron kayong hindi na masingil, giniba pa nyo na, pag journal nyo nun, ilalagay nyo yung entry na yon doon sa inyong general journal. At the same time, yung totality nun sa ledger ng bad debts, ilalagay nyo dito sa allowance for bad debts. Bakit? Kasi pambawas po yan ng receivable. Ang tawag po dyan pag may nakalagay na less sa mga nasa accounting o yung mga ano, tawag dyan ay contra account. Kasi nga, kinukontra niya to. So, it's a contra account. Okay? So, may mga contra accounts like for example, depreciation, that's a contra account. Now, uh, itong net accounts receivable. Net accounts receivable, in this case, pag tinotal nyo yung accounts receivable less allowance for bad debts, yun yung net accounts. Yun lang po siya. So yung total o yung tawag dito, difference ng accounts receivable at ng the bad debts, that will be your net accounts receivable. Other receivables, pwedeng notes receivable, pwedeng ibang klaseng form ng receivables, they fall under this one. Okay? So hindi yung 51, don't mind this. Just the 46 and 48 most likely po yung gagamitin nyo. Yung 49 pwede pero I would not even use this unless kailangan talaga. Kung may budget talaga sa hindi talaga masingil eh. Normally, pwede mo naman i-hold yan eh. But that's for another day. That's for another discussion as I say. Now, inventory, let's move on. If you notice, finished goods, processed raw materials, and blah, blah, blah. Actually, hindi supplies, di ba? Dito kasi naka-breakdown siya. Sa totoo lang, ang gagamitin lang natin dito yung 52. Kasi itong 53, 54, tsaka 55, hindi ito ginagamit para sa mga, nasa manufacturing yan eh. Yun ang catch. Yan ang take note of that ha. Yung 53 and 54, this is for manufacturing sectors. 55 is for service oriented. Diyan lang nagkakaroon ng inventaryo ang service oriented sa supplies. Yung 52 ang ginagamit ng retail o ng trade. Okay? So the actual one that we will be using for most of us na nasa Bambi will have to be the 52. So 52 totality or the final tally of 52 will likely be your totality or your the number that you will be putting on 56. Kasi total lang yung 56 eh. Prepayments, for example, prepaid insurance, mga diyan pumupunta yon. Prepaid load na mobile actually is also a prepayment. So just to give you an heads up, yun yung ibig sabihin niyan. Pero normal sa prepaid insurance, pumiplay talaga to eh, yung prepayments. Kasi yun ang medyo malaki ang value. Then, once you have that, those numbers, you just add all of those and you add it to the total current assets. Now, that's your 58. Long-term investments, unlikely na meron kayo dito. So, just leave it blank para sa mga under ng BMBE unless you, kasi mga ano na to eh, uh, stocks and bonds, real estate, and others. Kung ikaw ay single prop, you need to declare those under this technically kasi iisa ang tax mo. Pero kung ikaw ay nasa company, nakahiwalay ito. Normally, yung earn, ano lang to, yung investment of the corporation ang nakatag sa 596061. So, yun yung long-term investment. Now, fixed asset. You see here, land. So kung may land, may lupa yung negosyo o yung pinagkakatayuan ng negosyo, you can declare it here. Take note, land is not part of the computation ng 3 million. Okay? Building is and other assets, one exception, land. Hindi ito sinasama when you're computing for the 3 million asset. Okay? So, building, kung may building yung kung pag-aari niyo yung building at yung depreciation niya per year, yun yun. Yung net book value niya, so that means the market value less the depreciation, that will be the net book value. So 66 is just 64 less 65. Other depreciable assets, for example, sasakyan, vehicle, that's one. So that's 67. So 67 less 68, that will be your 69 net book value. Okay? So when it says net book value, that's actually the value after depreciation. Then 70 fixed asset appraisal increase. Imposible to sa case natin unless siguro ikaw ay si Pangilinan or si Ramon ang wuhas mga assets like Amarsolo o mga ganun. Kasi appraisal increase, mga works of art yan eh. Doon yan pumapalo. Sa totoo lang, doon po pumapalo yung appraisal increase. Other than that, wala pong klaseng ibang appraisal increase. Bakit? Kasi merong sariling section ng land. So yung appraisal, yung land, sabi nga hindi nagde-decrease to. Yes, but may sarili siyang section. So that means itong appraisal increase dito, they're actually pertaining to those kinds of items. Works of art, mga kunyari memorabilia, ang mga taas yung value. So, kung merong ganong pag-aari yung negosyo, then it is to be declared here. So, unless you have one, then you can just skip this. Then total fixed asset, just total this. Okay? Yan. Now, what if yung mga ibang items ko? For example, computer, mga ganon. Pwede may lagay yan sa other depreciable assets actually. Hindi lang vehicle yan eh. Ito ang problema kasi ng 1701 AIF. If you notice, isang item lang yung other depreciable at isang item lang yung other asset. What if meron kang sasakyan, furniture, computer, TV, meron ka pang refrigerator, appliances na kailangan mo para sa tindahan mo. Paano mo ngayon i-declare yan? Hindi mo siya ma-declare ng tama, di ba? So ang gagawin mo na lang, o pinaka-trick, just for everyone's info or help, kasi confusing yan eh. Use other assets. Tag it under other assets. So, pag naglagay kayo, say for example, bumili kayo ngayon ng refrigerator. Okay? Paano nyo ililibro? Si DJ. Ito. Ref. Kunyari, description. Other asset purchase. Tapos, nilagyan nyo dito. Sa miscellaneous. Yan yung miscellaneous. Kaya kung may miscellaneous, actually, pwede nyo gamitin ang miscellaneous or, yun nga, other assets. Bakit? Now, kunyari, ang worth ng, ng ref, I say, maliit lang naman na ref. So, 5,000. Now, 5,000. If you notice, may miscellaneous explanation. Purchase of ref. Ganyan po ang paggawa niyan. That way, hindi nyo kailangan i-itemize yung ref. Pwede nyo i-bundle sila under one particular item, which is one cash and one on the miscellaneous side. So, kung meron pang kunyari, purchase of e-bike. E-bike. Kunyari, 20,000 ang e-bike nyo. 20,000. Purchase of e-bike. So, imbis na magkahiwalay yan, na nasa vehicle dapat to, pwede nyo na ilagay under one, since nilagay nyo sila sa other assets, paglagay nyo dito sa part ng AIF, dun sa other assets, 25,000 na siya. See? Ganun po ang paggamit nito. Iba-bundle nyo. Kasi nga, fix po yung mga account titles dito. Hindi po katulad sa financial statement, it's up to you to make those changes. Kung saan yung mas madali sa'yo, much better. Kaya mas madali siyang intindihin. Kaya po pine-prefer ng BIR itself, hindi po to, kundi ang financial statement. Kasi pag ito, kahit CPA po, medyo malilito dito pag binabasa ang 1701 AIF dahil sa mga certain items like this. Yung mga katulad ng other assets na kailangan i-bundle together. So, ang problema, wala namang notes to FS yan. Hindi naman required ang notes to FS dito sa AIF, no? So, that's it. Once na total mo yan, you've got your total assets. Ito po ang titignan ni BIR, which is the number 75. If your number 75 is less than 3 million, then you're all good. If that's more than 3 million, then you're disqualified from availing the benefit. Yung income tax exemption benefit. Yun po siya. Ganun lang po siya kasimple. Now, liabilities and owner's equity yung kabila. So, sa financial statement, let's see. Ito. If you notice, yan. Kung may liabilities, yan din lilitaw yan. Okay? So, liabilities, ito yung pagkakautang ng negosyo. So, kung may utang ang negosyo from pambili ng purchase, ng purchases niya, hindi pa nababayaran with promissory to pay yan. Yun, notes payable or accounts payable. So, other payables, kung may iba pang kailangan bayaran Ang negosyo, nandito rin yon. Tax payable, nandito rin po yon. Ano po yung tax payable? For example, um, yung percentage tax, hindi nyo pala babayaran for that year. Kasi, ano January 20, yung deadline nun. Kung hindi pa, kung ginawa nyo to before January 20, then likely lilitaw sa na may tax payable kayo. So, something like that. Yun po yung mga payables o other payables na pwedeng pumol under here. Now, nakalagay dito long-term debts. Bihirang-bihira to. But is there such a thing as a long-term debt? Yes. Let's say, for example, you sign up for a business loan, 5 years. That's actually a long-term debt. You put it here. So, pagkakautang po, para kunyari, mag-generate kayo ng additional na kapital. Umutang kayo ng 1 milyon para sa bangko. Saan nyo po ilalagay yon? Dito. Long-term debts po yun. Okay? Now, deferred credit. Deferred credit, ibig sabihin po nito yung kita hindi pa hindi pa earned yung kita. Kaya siya deferred credit. Ibig sabihin pumasok na siya sa libro nyo pero hindi pa siya dapat pumasok kasi hindi pa pumapasok yung actual transaction. So yung mga deferred, medyo medyo komplikado to. So as much as possible iwasan natin ito kasi para sa mga malaking mga tax management companies, sila yung makakagamit nito. O yung marunong sa accounting, they will be able to easily use this. But if you're not, avoid using this, especially kung kaway nasa VAT. Kasi may input-output yan. Magkakaroon ka ng problema sa deferred. So, enough of that. Since Bambi naman tayo, so let's skip that. Now, let's go to the equity. Ano yung owner's equity? Balance January 1. Ibig sabihin, ito yung ending inventory or not inventory. In this case, ending capital ng negosyo. So, kung ano yung ending capital ng balance ng December 31 of last year, yun ang beginning balance ng January 1. So, it's the exact same concept as your inventory. So, ang ending ng last year, yun ang beginning of the following year. Then, investment, additional investment, this is additional capital. So, kung nagdagdag ka ng capital, it falls under 83. Then, net income or loss. Ang net income or loss, nako-compute yan. Actually, nandito yan. Ito yun, oh. Yung 45. Kung ano yung sagot sa 45, yun ang sagot sa 84. Okay? So, 45 and 84 are one and the same. Then, appraisal capital, kung mayroong additional capital from those appraised valued items. But in this case, skip that. Owner's drawings. Ito po yung mga withdrawal ng owner from the negosyo. Ibig sabihin, kung kumuha ng pera si owner sa negosyo niya, kumuha ng say 10,000, pambabayad ko ng tuition fee ng anak ko, then that's drawing. Okay? So, if you took it from the business, it's an owner's drawing or an owner's withdrawal. Once you have that, if you notice, meron siyang parenthesis. Sum of items 82 to 85 less 86. So, yung totality ng 82 to 85 minus the drawing, that will be your ending balance or capital end ninyo. So, once you have that, you need to add your liabilities. Ito, si current liabilities. Ito ang problema dito, yung 88. Total liabilities and equity. Bakit ko sinasabing problema siya? Dahil sa kulang nga yung mga line items dito. As I said, as I mentioned kanina, may mga items na pwedeng hindi na de-declare. Malaki ang possibility na hindi mag-balance ang asset at yung liabilities and owner's equity. If you notice, ang tawag sa kanya balance sheet. But balance sheet? Kasi balanse siya. Meaning, ang total ng asset mo is the total of the liabilities and owner's equity. That's why it's called the balance sheet. Kunyari, 100 ang say yan nag-end neto, say 1 million. 1 million yung liabilities and owner's equity. Expect then that assets is 1 million. Pag hindi yan balanse, may something wrong sa computation. Yun po ang ibig sabihin nun. That's the reason why most will not actually tell you to create or use 1701 EIF. Malaki ang possibility sablay ito. It's because of missing accounts that are not in this list na hindi nagmamatch. Kasi kasi ang problema mo, lahat ng asset para sa cash lumilitaw. Pero yung lahat ng asset para dun sa ibang items, hindi mo accounted. Dun nagkakaroon ng problema. So, enough of that. Here's your cost, diba? Tulad ng kanina. And that's it po. Then, here, schedule 2. Yung schedule, ito pala, mention ko na rin. Yung schedule 3, schedule of income producing properties. Ito yung other properties or other income. Pwede mo itag dito yon. Kung yan ay property ha. So, kung yan ay property at owned ng business, dito din natag yan. Pero kung yan ay owned mo personally, I will not even add it here kasi hindi naman siya part ng business eh. So only when it's part of the action of the business, if it's owned by the business. Pero itong schedule of taxes and licenses, lahat ng tax na binabayaran mo from the 2255, apat na 2551, yung ano pa tawag dito, yung say dati may registration fee, dito rin yon, yung mayor's permit, building permit, sanitation permit, and kung ano-ano pang lintik na permit, barangay permit, that's it. Lahat yan dito. And that's the problem. If you notice, there are only what? 1, 2, 8 or 9 items here. There are more than 9 items. I can tell you that with a straight face in terms of the licenses. Pag bin-breakdown mo yan. Sa munisipyo pa lang or sa city hall, ilan na? 7? Wala. I'm not even sure. But what I'm saying is lampas-lampasan. And that's why I'm not really encouraging you to use this. What I am encouraging is for you to use the account titles under here to make it easier. Because once you figure out the or use the account titles and na libro mo siya ng tama, madali lang siyang gawin eh. Oh. If you will look at this on, dali. Yeah. This is an balance sheet, oh. See, an income statement. So, pwede mong dagdagan yan. Hindi mo kailangan i-match lahat ng ganyan lang. What I'm simply saying is, madaling i-correct ang yung items. Madaling-madali siya i-correct pag nasa financial statement. Unlike on this one, fix eh. So it can really cause some problems for you, especially pag binabalanse mo na siya. But pero kung minimal lang mga line items mo, then ang accounts mo, then you can you should be able to use this without a problem. So, ang 1701 EIF is ideal for those with very few accounts na kailangan itag. Pero kung medyo madami-dami ang account na kailangan mo itag, it is likely to cause you a problem. So, That's it for today. Next time, I'll try to discuss yung paggawa ng financial statement. I might start with actually journal. So, kung paano gawin yung ganito, yung simpleng CRJ. So, para ma-explain ko sa inyo how CRJ and CDJ works. Kasi ito yung dalawang journal na madalas na itatatakan para sa inyo ng BIR. So, paano gagawin nyo? At ano yung mga column at kung ano yung normal na ine-expect o ilalagay nyo dyan to make it easy para sa inyo nang ma-transition nyo siya into a financial statement. Rather than, kasi yan yung mahirap eh. Yan yung dyan tayo, sabi nga, dyan ka nag-hire ng services. But if you don't want to hire additional services for bookkeeping and your accounting, then you need to learn it to make things simple and easy. That way, you will be able to record the transactions ng tama at simplified. Diba? It doesn't matter kung simplified yan or complicated yan eh. Ang importante yan, tama, accurate. That's the only thing that matters. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you.